Hello everybody, MorbTron here. Today we're talking about the new exotic sidearm added into Destiny 2, the Devil's Ruin. Now, there will be a short guide on how to get it, and then followed by the review itself. If you don't want to pay attention to the guide or you want to skip it, I'm going to leave a timestamp on screen right now, and down in the description if you want to just skip ahead to the review. So the way that you get this thing, first of all, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to Mercury, and you're going to want to do yourself a normal sundial. At the end of the sundial activity, where you'd usually select which reward you want, at the very top there'll be an exotic quest. You can pick that up. You need to go talk to Saint 14 after you pick that up, and what he's going to do is go tell you to find the parts for the weapon, which is going to be in the EDZ. And there's going to be a special mission that you can queue for. It's going to be right down here. I can't queue for it because I've already done it. And you need to collect the 10 weapon parts in there. Now, if you pay attention during that quest line, there's a lot of voice lines between Saint 14, Osiris, and later on Shax joins the call. And it's actually pretty funny. And in this video, the guide where all of the little parts are you need to collect, I'm not going to play any of the audio. It's quite long. But the quest itself, after you complete the sundial, takes less than 10 minutes to do if you just sprint through it. And now I'm going to show you where all the locations for the parts are in the quest. And after you collect all 10 parts, you're automatically given the weapon. You do not need to go back to Saint 14. But now on to the review of the weapon. So its stats are right there. They're a bunch of bars. They don't really mean a damn thing because there's no other weapon like it. It's an exotic. It's got these other things on it. It's got a grip. It's got a battery. It's got a barrel. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change the stats because the stats are the stats on an exotic. You cannot get random rolls on it. Doesn't matter. They are what they are. The things that matter are the intrinsic perk and the exotic trait. So we have the intrinsic perk, which is a variable trigger. You press and release to fire individual shots. It's a single shot sidearm. But if you click and hold or pull the trigger and hold, it'll fire up a laser, which will actually stagger unstoppable champions. The bullets will not stagger. It has to be the laser, which is fine. Whatever. No worries there. And pyrogenesis. Fully charging the laser refills the magazine from reserves, which does not work the way that I'd hoped that it worked. The way that it does work is okay, but I really think that Bungie could have had a 10 out of 10 exotic sidearm instead of a 6 out of 10 exotic sidearm if they had done this thing a little bit more justice. So the way that the laser works is it uses the ammo from the sidearm. And Bungie has it designed so that you always get the same amount of laser no matter what. So if you click and hold even at one round in the magazine, it's going to use 15 ammo because it will refill from reserves. That's cool and all, but what I was hoping for after you use the laser, it refilled the magazine from reserves again. So that way you could keep on shooting and charging the laser, and shooting and charging the laser, and shooting and charging the laser, and you'd never have to reload it, because the reload on this thing is actually not that great compared to other sidearms. So being able to constantly or continuously keep on shooting would be pretty cool. The other thing that the sidearm doesn't really have going for it is range, which is every sidearm's problem. But if we see here, we do max damage 1838 with this weapon's power. And right here, we're already out of its max range. We're already out of its max range. That's not very far away. So, I mean, I can damn near shotgun this guy within this sidearm's range. It's pretty lame, I gotta say. That's the sidearm's big downfall. It actually makes it pretty difficult to use correctly or effectively on PC using mouse and keyboard. On console, it's probably a different story. And the main difference is there. In the Crucible, you have bullet magnetism, and that's with both mouse and keyboard and controller. That doesn't change. Bullet magnetism is always there. It doesn't really work in PvE, but let's just say that this is an enemy guardian. I can shoot him in the face by, well, just straight up shooting him in the face. But if you also, in Crucible, aim like above their nameplate, you'll still shoot them in the head. And that's the same on both controller and mouse and keyboard. What's different about controller, mouse, and keyboard is sticky targeting, or aim assist. So, the way that it works is, let's say I'm strafing across my target here with my mouse. It doesn't slow down at all. Once you use a controller, it actually slows down. It kind of sticks to your target a little bit. Kind of like that. I'm kind of just simulating it with my mouse. And I've tested that in the past. I've made videos on that in the past. And the way that makes it more difficult to use the laser is there's no bullet magnetism on a laser, just like the trace rifles. But it's much easier to stick to your target if you have that sticky targeting. So it makes it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more annoying to use on PC with mouse and keyboard. So you're probably not going to see very much of this in Crucible after people get over, you know, the original, hey, I got this thing, I'm going to try it out. The first couple days you're going to see a lot of this, and then it's going to go away on PC. Controller, console, a little bit different. You're probably going to see a lot of it because it is pretty lethal. But we're going to get into the Crucible portion of this video now, and you can see what it's like to use it. Alright, so we're using the Devil's Ruin sidearm in a control match here. When we spawn in 17 miles away from Zone C, and the enemy team actually spawns in closer to your point. Haha, it's good times. But we're going for B though, that's fine. So the Devil's Ruin. I hate it. I'm sure that it's, you know, sidearms are much better to use on console. It's just a fact. And there we go, we actually got a precision kill with the laser beam, the laser McPew-Pews. But oh, I'm so dead. The whole enemy team just spawned in behind me. That's fine, though. Here on PC, so the main differences between console and PC, or controller and mouse and keyboard, is there is still bullet magnetism, meaning that you can aim slightly above somebody's head and you'll still hit them in the head, or you'll, you know, aim for their upper chest, you'll hit them in the head. But haha, he burned out. There is no aim assist, and aim assist is like the sticky targeting that you get on console when you cursor over somebody. The aim tends to slow down, meaning that you're much more likely to sit on your target. That's not a thing when you're using mouse and keyboard, which makes using the laser beam not the best. There we go, got that guy. Now, can the sidearm be lethal? Hell yes it can. They can be very, very lethal if you can actually hit your target with the laser beam. And now that I've actually had a couple games practice, I can pull it off. But I'd much rather be using something like a hand cannon or something of that nature as my primary weapon, because the sidearm itself has very little range, and it can be useful at close ranges, but it's not great at all at medium range, and long range you might as well just piss into the wind. It's just not worth using at all. Now, one thing that would make the sidearm better is if the sidearm got reloaded. Ooh, that was a good play there. If the sidearm got reloaded after you fired the laser, that's the way that the sidearm works. You know, like I showed earlier, it reloads up to 15 before the laser goes off, but it doesn't auto-reload after the laser is done. And it'd be a hell of a lot better if it also auto-reloaded after the laser was done firing. That way, if you didn't quite finish somebody off with a laser beam, you could, you know, maybe clean up the kill with a couple regular shots from the sidearm itself. But if you can stay on target, it's actually pretty good. Oop, oop, oop. Let's not get sniped in the face. Let's put that up there. And I have gotten just completely melted out of my super by that little sidearm more than once. There we go, that's a pretty good super. And with Sun Warrior, I imagine this thing can actually secure a kill pretty easily. Like the Sun Warrior buff that increases weapon damage, or Weapons of Light would also do it, I'm sure. Oh, there we go. Didn't quite secure a kill, but that's fine. It's 87 to 27. We need to let them get a couple more kills. Oh, no, we mercied them. That's fine. So I got my point across, though, with this thing. It's not that great. I'm sure it's going to be really good to use on console, but it's just not that great. It's not that great, and it's nothing that I'm going to be using. Can you get some plays with it? Yeah, you can. There we go. I got top. I got top frags, and I was using the sidearm that I hate, complaining about it the whole time. Sidearms are not my cup of tea. But I'm sure if you're a sidearm aficionado, you enjoy using sidearms, you're going to like this thing. But sidearms aren't my thing, and I won't be using it, really, ever again. I'm much more of a hand cannon user. If I'm going to go with a close range primary, it's going to be an SMG, not a sidearm. And this sidearm's range is horrendous. If it had better range, it'd be better. But the range is just extremely lacking, and that really, really hurts its lethality. The laser is interesting, but at farther away ranges, it's nearly impossible to hit on PC with mouse and keyboard. With a controller, it'd probably do better, but I'm not a controller guy, so oh well. So, my verdict on it, it's very unique. It's an interesting sidearm. I think Bungie really, really missed a home run by only having it refill the magazine before the laser goes off and not after as well. I think it'd be a lot better, and I'd probably like this thing a lot more if that was the case. If you never had to reload this thing, if you could chain over and over again, it'd be fantastic, but I think they really missed the ball on that one. They really dropped it. But, you know, it staggers unstoppable champions. Yeah, cool. Oh well, I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 for this sidearm. There we go. That's it for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, subscribe for all that stuff. But do not forget to have a good day, everybody, and I'll catch you all next time.